This truck before and after. Here's what it looked like after. No, this is not a 5 out of 10 or anything like that. We're just trying to make it look not like a hodgepodge like it was. So when you see this thing in the end, don't expect it to look like my normal stuff. So anyway, enjoy, watch the video, and check out the before and after. Talk to you in the next one. And look, I mean, it looks exactly like the truck. We'll look at the truck right here. So rather than try and sand this, I don't know what it is on here, or strip it off and everything else, fenders and hood are a lot cheaper. Plus they're kind of beat up. He didn't line them up correctly. So we got a new fender and grill. This is going to be his daily driver truck, one of my employees. So got a little delamination going on here on the truck itself. And so I jam out the front group, and you can see this color looks pretty spot on to that one that is there. So if you look here, the metallic in there, and it's pretty spot on to what's here. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't need to be completely spot on. We just, you know, he doesn't want to drive around a piece of junk. So, and that's understandable. So anyway, we're just gonna beat this thing back into shape, do one of those one of my quick blow and go paint jobs on it, and we're just not gonna paint inside the bed. That's one of the reasons we want to use the same color as what's on there. And you see they can see where this delaminated all this stuff. Ooh, there's some nasty Bondo in this cab, so that's going to be fun. We'll see how that goes. Anyway, we'll get this thing put back together and throw those fenders and hood on there. Take a look at this thing to give this as like a pre-video of the truck, and you guys can take a look how crappy this piece of junk is. It's not going to look 100%. We're just going to try and get it to about 70 or 80 because it's kind of a work truck. So he picked this up, you know, fairly reasonable. Working air conditioning for $1,000, and Toyotas are hard to find, and they're good trucks. So we didn't get a new front bumper. We're just gonna use what's here, clean off all that junk that's on there. Should have got turn lights, but I'll probably get the lenses for those later. And got a new grill for it. And of course these corner marker lights, I got new ones of those. So anyway, we'll put this thing together here in the next few days here, and you know, get it back on the road. And you'll see this old truck is going to look pretty nice. All right, talk to you in the next video. So we put some Evercoat Gold on that. AG47 over sanded paint over here, and it seems to be working good. It's as specified by the manufacturer, so we're not really worried about it too much on this truck. So I got this thing, some of the body work done here. I got the fenders on. Starting to look at some of the stuff here, and you can see these pillars have been reworked. You know, obviously the lines here narrow, wide. It's had some pretty major issues going on, and so of course when we put the hood on, the hood gaps don't line up at all. Probably gonna get the hood pushed down a little bit, but see how it's narrow here? I can fix that and then wider, but it's still really wide on this whole side, and the doors line up, you know, about as far as I can go in. So I'm not really worried about it. Like I said, on this truck, we're not trying to get a cherry or anything, but the same thing here. You look at how this has been reworked, and this doesn't line up. So none of that stuff's going to line up again. I'm not going to worry about it. You can see by the Bondo cracks that were in the pillars that somebody's done some work, and there's actually somebody brazed these two panels together. So, you know, it's like I said, it's going to be a work truck. So we're not trying to get it really nice and cherry or anything. Just trying to get it to where it doesn't look like a total piece of crap. You know, drive up on a job site with something that looks like crap and everybody thinks you're just a joker. So, you know, you want it to look fair, not good. This is gonna look fair. This is not gonna look good. So kind of reworked this panel a little bit, but pretty heavy wave here. It was like a ½ inch low, so I pushed it back a little bit, kind of trying to push the waves out of it a little bit, but still it's all full of Bondo. You know, really I should just take the whole thing down, but what I found was when I checked the piece down here, the area where there's the Bondo right there, or the filler I put on there, using Evercoat Gold on that, and that's over bare metal. Believe it or not, it's just looks like it's on paint, but it's not. With the reason I was going to weld that area. At Junior's truck here. Alright, so we got a midterm project here. Show you guys what we're doing. So we got this paint sanded right here underneath. And we got AG47 on there. I'm just going to do a little kind of minor fills. And that's how that stuff sands. It sands really nice, almost like polyester glazing. It's spec to go over factory finish. But this isn't factory finish, but at least it's adhered well. So that's the main thing. So we're putting on the fenders, got the old ones removed, got the valance off. This knucklehead put some kind of, I don't know what the hell kind of paint this is, but we're going to strip it off here, use a strip paint stripper. And then we got all the jams painted on the fenders, I showed you in the last video. Then we're going to start sanding this thing down real quick. We're going to have to fix this. I don't know, there's a big wave right here in it. I don't know if you can even see it in the video, but it's ugly. I don't know if I'm going to fix that or not. Might be kind of a pain to fix. Definitely going to fix the rust hole right here. I'm going to fix this part in the cab. It's all going to, Bondo's got to come off of that. We're not doing a real custom job or anything. This is just going to be like a work truck paint job. So that's the progress here on the truck. I've done some stripping here. We got to get some that orange air freshener and get all this stuff off of here. So it takes a while to do. Alright, so I'll talk to you guys in the next video, next section, or however we decide to do this. Talk to you next time. Here where we're at now, where I'm at now, I got most of the things sanded down. I'm actually gonna go through here and I'm using the DTM sealer, so I'm just gonna forego even priming the front fenders. I'm just going to sand them down, seal them, shoot them. That's it. So, see how that works out. It'd probably be alright. It depends on the DTM sealer I'm using. It'll probably be alright. It's a catalyzed sealer, so. And it's a little bit thick. Not too bad. So, we got all these things filled in. Got this side sanded. Get this part sanded here. This is like the first day, you guys, so then every time I look, you know, it seems like I found Bondo cracks here, so giant Bondo globs there, so I don't know, it's over paint and who knows what they used. So might have to grind those out, and I'm just going to use the polisher and just put a 24 or a 36 grit on there and just knock it down real quick and see what's there. And it's probably a giant dent, probably 2 inches thick. Seems like this whole truck's full of stuff like that. So kind of found a few more nicks and dings here. I got this thing kind of worked out, kind of crappy, but it'll be better than it was, I think. Got most of the big wave out of it. Not really. Got some of the delamination fixed up. Hit it with 150, then knocked it down with 220. Some of you guys are going to go, what, 220 and then you paint? Yep, 220. You can do it. Now on a cheap job, if you're looking to have absolutely perfect, no sanding scratches, then you know you better go to 600. But I'm going to use a sealer. I'm going to do this. This is my plan here. Is I'm going to shoot the thing out with a sealer and let it dry really good and check it, non-sanding sealer, and check it and see how much it filled. If it didn't fill enough, then I'm actually going to coat it with single stage urethane as a base, then a quick drying single stage urethane that I have, satin, and then I'm going to go ahead and shoot the base on, just mist it, and then shoot the clear on. So the whole thing is going to get maybe 1 to 2 coats of base coat, actual color on it, and it should look good. I tested on the hood. It covers really good. I'm using a base called Auto Art, and that stuff's pretty good. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it. Auto Art base. So they have good paint, and it's pretty inexpensive, and they use a pretty high amount of solids, or they use a you know, it's the binder base they use is 75-25 binder. So if you get the binder base, if you get the one with no binder in it, it's 100% no toners, no binder. So that's what I'm not going to use the 100% stuff. I'm using the 75-25, and the 75-25 covers amazing for a pro coat. It covered really good. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. Easel, I'm using a couple different things I'll talk about. Actually, I'm going to do a review on some sandpaper real quick. Mirka versus Smart, and I'll let you guys watch that video to see what you think. Pretty amazed. Alright, talk to you in the next video, next portion, or the next video, whichever I do. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So sanded this thing down, and remember I was telling you guys about this dent in the back, and you know, whoever this dumbass who had worked on this thing last time, he had no conscience when it comes to how much Bondo to put on something. I mean, here you got an access panel right here, right? And look at this. He puts the mound of Bondo on. Let me just show you how thick it is. Alright, so I got a kind of semi-straight edge here. Yep. 1/4 of an inch. You know, what was the reason for that? It's actually, and it's, you know, it wasn't even straight to begin with. I mean, here we go down here. 1/4 of an inch down here too, and that's why the Bondo was cracking. It was over paint too, so probably used the cheapest Bondo. It felt like it when you hit it with the grinder. The cheap stuff just doesn't sand, so and put it on super thick. That's how you make Bondo crack. So there's probably stuff like that all over this truck, but you know, I'm just getting all the stuff that's showing up right now, because I mean, there's Bondo everywhere. It's all over the place. But anyway, we'll just make it look good. Good work, truck. Talk to you in the next portion. Got Junior's truck all ready to go here. Just gonna seal coat all this stuff here. Got all these things spot primed, all the bodywork straight. Ended up having to dig out a whole bunch of cracks. Like here, I'm not gonna get it. It's not real straight, but it's good enough. It's gonna be wavy like it was. I'm not gonna strip that whole tailgate. And then there's a really nasty wave right here. Kind of straightened it out a little bit. Still gonna be there a little bit too. But got the delamination sanded, and that's it for this portion. Look at the raw paint here from Travis's little truck. Oh boy, what a bad day we had today. Well, you know, I've never used the Drew Carriage Clear with a slow activator, and I never will again. This stuff just hits the ground, man. I mean, it's either orange peel or runs. You can't get anything smooth with it. At least in this temperature. Maybe if it was 110. It's only about 80 out right now, and inside the shop it was 80, so we got a lot of runs. I mean, it just started coming down. I mean, tons of it, and it's still a lot of orange peel too, so oh well. I mean, this is painting, guys. This is what happens. Sometimes it doesn't go the way you want it to. All runs right here. Got a giant one. This started out as just a little run. I guess I bumped the mirror, and I thought, oh, actually I was feathering out this way and feathering that way, and trying not to, you know, get the mirror in my way when I'm doing around the mirror. It's kind of tricky to do around those things. And it was just a little sag right here, and it just kept going. I mean, went to lunch, came back, and the run went through the body line all the way down to there. So that stuff's, you know, the other stuff. And then I got heavy orange peel in this fender because, it's just like either it's orange peel heavy or it gets runs. So, and they didn't flow out at all, so it didn't help at all, really. I would I'll never use the well, we got the finish, looks really good. Base coat turned out really nice. It's just more work. I just don't like to have to sand out all these runs. And so if you guys are using the Drew Carriage Clear, stand clear of the slow hardener, because it doesn't help at all. It just doesn't. Stuff doesn't work with it. Not for me. I mean, maybe for somebody else, I don't know, but I'd say more than likely, if you use my spray techniques, I would not use it at all. So it came out a little too dry, in my opinion, and wherever I don't have a run, it's too dry. And wherever I have a run, it's just hanging. They didn't just like make a little sag. I mean, it went all the way to the ground. Just terrible. So anyway, so it just created a lot of work for me to have to fix now. So I got to sand all this crap out. The color looks great though. Really nice looking color. Let's look at it out from far away. It'll look good once it's all buffed out, but now I got to buff it. I didn't want to have to do all that. I was just gonna spray it and that's it. So body's pretty wavy. Knew it would be. We'll put it together. It's all put together and done. It's gonna look nice. You know, I use the same technique I use with everything else, and maybe I'll get a little sag here and there. Every once in a while I'll get a little run, but nothing like this. This is just awful. So this slow hardener sucks. So anyway, that's it for the little truck. We'll get one other one once we get it polished. I'll get all this stuff sanded out. I'll probably have to actually, where these body lines are, I'll probably have to re-clear the whole, you know, spot it and paint it and all kinds of shit. It just makes me mad. I just was pissed off when this was going down. So, you know, when this stuff happens, it happens. Everybody. It's, oh, I never get any runs. Oh, bullshit. You do something a little bit different than what you're used to doing, you're going to get, something's going to go wrong. You're going to have problems. It just does. So, like when I switch to Tamco Clear, then I'll have another learning curve. It's just like any time you have a different product, you try something different, you know, it can change the whole formula of everything. So, you know, getting a nice smooth finish and stuff like that, you know, you got to have all the stars aligned. You know, it's not just one or two things. Everybody thinks, oh, wow, if I just spray it really smooth, it comes out perfect. Well, not exactly. Once you get used to the spray technique, then you also have the right hardener, right temperature outside. You know, all those things affect your job and how it turns out. The color looks so nice though. This pearl coat, I did not use anything other than, I'll tell you guys how I did this. And you know, look at that pearl coat, looks really nice right there. How I ended up doing this and not getting too much sanding scratch. I mean, I saw a little bit in the tailgate going on, but not much. And people go, what, you sanded this with 220 and you didn't get sanding scratch? There's no way. Well, that's what I did. This is done with 220, and if you look, let's see about the best angle we can get right here. There's just a little bit of dirt in there, but there's no sanding scratch. Now, in a couple days it might die down, and we're going to get some dieback with this clear. It's not, you know, it's probably about 10 to 15% dieback with this product, which is pretty, very little. But to get this to cover, all I did was I did a double coat of the sealer. Now, I'm going to tell you guys what a double coat is. So you can go through and you can spray something, the whole thing. You come back and you spray the whole thing again. That's 2 coats. Okay, but what a double coat is you go over. So for instance, you start out with the hood right here, and you run through and you do the hood, and maybe you go into the fender now, and you come back, and before that hood's completely dry, it's just a little bit set up. It just starts to set up a little bit. Then you hit it again so that you're not having to put a full coat on it. And then so I would just work my way from front to rear in a double coat. So I would do like the hood once, then go to the fender, do the fender first coat, go back to the hood, do the hood. It's like another second, almost a second coat, just another little drier than a full coat, and it melts into it. Then I come back to this fender, then I paint this fender the second coat. Then I go to the other side and I get the first coat over there, and I just work from front to rear. So I'd have the whole front group done when I got 2 coats on, or double sprayed everything in the front. Then I go to the doors, then I go to the roof, then I work my way so that by the time you got to the rear of the car, you kind of kept the wet edge all the way back. So it's a little tricky to do, but it did fill in the scratches because I got enough on there and gave it a full base coat. Where if I would have just shot the sealer on 1 coat, you'd see right through it. But it didn't have enough. I didn't have enough product to go through and put 2 coats of sealer on. So those are little techniques you guys can use to. And of course I reduced it just a little bit because I knew it didn't have quite enough, and that made it so I had just barely enough to do it. And the extra material on there filled in the scratches a lot more. So it filled in so I could use 220 with orbital sander, and then 320 by hand. So, and still not have sanding scratch. You know, the thing that, if you get a little bit of sanding scratch and it's in the finish, that's not a big deal. But if it's in the metallics and you can see the streaks, that's ugly. You don't want that, and that's what I was trying to avoid. So if I get a little bit of dieback and I get a little bit of shrink from this, and I get a little bit of sanding scratch, I'm gonna have to polish it anyway. So who cares? No big deal. So that's a couple little techniques about spraying while you guys are learning. Some of you guys are learning. Some of you guys that already know, and that's cool. Sometimes it's good to hear from somebody else. You know, I watch all the guys who know already. I watch the new guys too. So I like to watch different people paint and, you know, and learn, because that's how you learn. You just keep doing it. And even if you've been doing it for 35 years, you still learn stuff new every day. Talk to you in the next video. How the Toyota turned out. Just gave it a quick polish because I had some issues with the runs on this mass monster, and then it didn't blend in very good in the Pro Coat. So I was just going to stay that way. This thing looks a lot better than it did. So you can really see that in the camera. You can't see it right bad in person. Looking in the camera, I was like, holy crap. Couple runs in the back, just polished them out real quick, left them rub through on the doors. Of course I knew it would. Of course the tops of the door jambs and stuff like that rub through. We're going to put that dent gets covered with this piece here. It's actually part of the body, so when it gets that piece put on, covers that up. Hey, look alright, you know. He's probably going to wreck this thing anyway. We'll see how he does. I don't know. Yeah, it looks pretty shiny, and you know, there's the issues. We were just slammed some more plastic in there. It's not perfect either. A little ripply on the roof. There's some major body work that was done to this truck, so underneath. So who knows, you know. So anyway, it looks all right, you know. Nice looking truck, way better than it looked like before. And like I said, we're just trying to make it. It's a work truck. It's just gonna get nicks and stuff like that in it and get used as a work truck probably, you know. So the bed, you know, looks all right. So anyway, it's just a quickie paint job. This was like, well, the polishing took more time than I spent on the prep on this thing, let me put it that way. And then I shot a really light coat of the Pro Coat on, and I thought it had covered it, but it, yeah, you know, the Pro Coat's hard to tell. So I must have missed, and I should have put another 2 more coats probably, but didn't buy that much material to do so. So, well, that's how it happens. You know, that's how that stuff works, but it looks good enough. Who cares? Alright, talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.